Welcome back to another episode of With Love Mama, the podcast. I'm Tanika, but before we dive into today's episode, I just want to say a huge thank you for being here. This podcast was created to feel like a safe space where women can exhale, feel seen, feel informed, and feel a little less alone in whatever season they're moving through. So if the conversations that we've had have supported you in any way, one of the most beautiful ways that you can support the show is by subscribing, leaving a rating, or sharing an episode with another woman who needs to hear it too. It genuinely helps our podcast to grow and reach more women navigating preconception, pregnancy, birth, postpartum, and beyond. So let's get into today's episode. Hello and welcome back to another episode of With Love Mama. Today is going to be a bit of just like an honest life update, how I'm navigating having a toddler in my pregnancy. I'm in my third trimester now. He is just starting to go through the 18-month sleep regression. And I just want to have an honest chat because yes, I love sharing the educational things and being in my zone of genius as a doula, but I equally am just a mum. Like I equally am just a girl. And I think this is something I would love to be listening to other mums who are in the same position, but I just don't know where to listen to it. So I guess I'm just going to yap on about it and you can listen and hopefully it will support a mum who has been there, felt alone, is there, feels a bit alone, all the things. Because I'm like, your first pregnancy, it's wildly different. You are preparing to welcome a child for the first time, and there's a lot that comes with that. There's a lot of preparation, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of anxiety, not even having to subscribe to those things, but they're there and they exist, right? Whereas the second time, and this is based on my personal experience because I know everyone has such completely different experiences throughout their pregnancy and birth. Like if you have had a terrible pregnancy or your birth didn't go the way that you desired, there can be anxiety and fear leading to that. And obviously I still experience a bit of fear, or actually I would probably rather say anxiety than fear around going into the second time, because there's always the what ifs, and it's a very uncertain time welcoming another human, obviously. But I just think there's something more to becoming a mum for the second time, because you've already been through matrescence in the sense of your identity has changed. You've met who you are as a mother. You know how you like to mother. You know how you don't like to mother. You have started implementing the boundaries, and life looks wildly different compared to when you were a maiden and you didn't have that responsibility of a whole other human on your belt, And there's that, but then there's also the part of it where I'm actually pregnant with a toddler, which I feel is huge, because pregnant with a toddler is wild. And I understand we chose this life, which is stunning. And I'm not at all complaining when I say anything in this episode. I'm more just, having that chat around holy shit, this baby, and I'm so sorry for my language. People probably listen to this with their kids in the car, and I really try my best, but it just sometimes doesn't go to plan. Anywho, having a toddler who is going through developmental leaps of learning how to speak and climbing things and understanding the world and learning autonomy and relationships and all of the things, right? There's all of that, but then also equally growing a human and nourishing myself and trying to be the best version of myself for the baby I'm growing, and equally for myself, obviously, and also for my toddler. And that can be a lot. That can be so much. And I just think that as women, we do not give ourselves enough, we don't pat ourselves on the shoulder enough and be girl, do you understand how big that is? Think about how big it was when you were pregnant for the first time and you were trying to juggle all of that. And then when you're pregnant for the second time and you have a toddler, it's wild that your capacity is stretched and shifts and changes, and you don't even realize that you actually had it in you. I think back to when I was pregnant for the first time and I was thinking, how am I going to look after a whole human, look after myself, maintain my relationship, work, do all of the things. How am I, plain and simple, how am I going to do all the things? And now I have a toddler and I'm pregnant and I'm doing all of the things, and it is honestly easier than okay, it's hard at times, but like it's extremely manageable. I also am someone who loves like being under pressure. Like I feel like I thrive under pressure. I don't know what that is, if that's like something what that means, but I am someone who like loves like just lots going on. I feel like I really thrive in like almost chaos, if that's even like a way to put it. But it's just like one of those things where it's like, yes, it's like feels good and I feel like I'm thriving, but also how crazy is that to be pregnant, growing a human, and then also like waking up to your toddler who's going through a regression at 4:50 in the morning to start the day. And that's just what we're going to do. And like having 2 under 2 it's a big thing. Like it's huge. And I am so like excited for it. I know like when we have the baby girl, it's going to look a little bit different. Obviously, like I have moments of like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to be like Kodak's everything. Obviously, I'm still be his everything, but like I am going to be split between 2. And I have moments of like guilt of like, oh my gosh, he needs me. Like, how am I supposed to tend to a whole other baby when he needs me as much as he does sometimes? And there's like all of those moments, but I just know it's going to be okay. And I just keep coming back to like, I'm not the first mum to do this. I feel like I parent so like aware. Like I don't know. I feel like I always am like Jai and I both were always trying to understand like how the like Kodak's brain works and like all of these things. And we've had so many conversations around how we want to approach things if, for example, Kodak has a regression when we have the baby, or if Kodak's behavior changes, or this or that. Like we've had so many conversations around, I'm so sorry, my nose is like low-key half blocked because I'm just getting over a bit of a cold. Anywho, hopefully you can't even tell. But we've had so many conversations just around like things that we want to do. Like for example, Kodak 90% of the time sleeps through the night, which is honestly so blessed for that. But we have had the conversation around like, okay, if he's going to start waking up through the night when we have the baby, how are we going to navigate that? I really, really want to breastfeed this baby that we're having. I've shared my breastfeeding journey in another episode if you want to go back and listen to that. I feel like it's really great episode just to have insight into like, unfortunately, I wasn't able to breastfeed. And like working with my new midwife, like we've kind of like maybe got a bit of an understanding as to why it also did work out that way for me. And we're going to really try and manage that and the symptoms of that like this postpartum. So definitely stay tuned. I'm hoping I can breastfeed. But anywho, my point of bringing that in is like we've had conversations around if Kodak was to wake in the night and I'm breastfeeding and like what are we going to do? Because I would really love to tend to Kodak. I know I can't do everything. I understand that. But like, you know, I would love to really give my toddler who has that more of an understanding than a baby of like, I'm mummy, daddy's daddy. And don't get me wrong, like Kodak is obsessed with his dad. Like he does go through so many stages of like only wanting his dad. But I feel as though potentially when I have the baby, he might want more of me because he'll see me with the baby. I'm not sure. Every child does also adjust very differently. And if you have actually gone through like motherhood for the second time with a young one, like a toddler, definitely reach out to me on Instagram because I'd love to just hear how it was for you. And if you do have any tips for me, like I said, I have moments of like almost just anxiousness because it is unknown and we just don't know what to expect with so many things. But it's so different the second time as well. Like I feel like, for example, the pregnancy's gone so fast. Like I'm literally 29 weeks pregnant and holy shit, maybe, am I 29 or 30 weeks pregnant? See, that's what I also mean. I literally don't even know. Like I just know I'm in my 3rd trimester. And like first pregnancy, I mean, I was still not super great with like what week I was, but like I was better than this. This is crazy. Oh my goodness. See, anyway, I've just lost my train of thought because I'm literally like, oh my goodness, like how pregnant am I? But my point of that was I haven't even set anything up yet for the baby. And for some that might be like, well, you've still got like time, but my first pregnancy, I feel like I'm type A with a sprinkle of type B. Not sure if that's even a type. Potentially that's type C. Love organization, love structure, love having things organized, having a sense of control, all of the things, like, you know, knowing that things are going to be a certain way. So for example, like having my house set up completely, like perfectly, like stations here, all the things organized perfect. But then I also can just be like super, like not, like chaotic, I guess. I can be like super chaotic. Anyway, I literally haven't got anything set up like for this baby. I have barely got like anything organized. Obviously we have like a lot of stuff, like we don't really need to buy anything, like, and I've had like some great brands like sending me stuff doing like UGC, so that's been like awesome, but I'm not really as like prepared, like, you know, could probably go and get the car seat sorted, or could probably set up one of the bassinets, you know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy. So there's that, like the second time where it's just like your focus is like so much on your other child. And yes, before I said like it's actually been easy for me, but I also just want to like touch on the hard, because the hard does exist, and I don't want to like sound like I'm just fucking like doing so well and I don't have hard moments. I have so many hard moments. I think what really supports me in that though is like I feel like I have a really strong foundation like in my mind. Like I don't spiral for long on when things feel hard. I definitely have moments of spiraling. Do not get me wrong. I have lots of moments of frustration. I have lots of moments of like, what am I doing wrong? Like, how can we fix this? And just like almost frustration at my toddler in the sense of like, dude, just tell me what you want. But like, obviously he can't. And I think that's all just completely normal to have like all of those feelings and emotions when you're a mum, full stop. But then like being pregnant, and like if it is on sleep deprivation or he's just going through a lot emotionally, it's really, it can be a lot when you're like already having your pregnancy hormones flowing and you're feeling emotional, then your toddler's feeling emotional, and it's like, oh my gosh, I need to regulate myself so I can regulate my child. And I just wanted to bring that part in too, because I just feel like, yes, I feel like it has been easy. I've got still like anxiety and stuff coming up, but it also can be really hard, and it can be a lot. And it can feel really hard when all your toddler wants is you. Like, my partner couldn't do anything to support because he only wants mummy. And it's such a beautiful contrast of, he's not going to want mummy for very long. Like, this is in reality, this is a very short period of our lives having young children as mothers. In like 10 years, which is really not that far away, they're going to be more independent. They're not going to want mummy in the same way. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and I always try and come back to that of just like, yes, this feels like a lot right now, but like, it's also everything I've always wanted. And like, just soak it in, even when it feels so hard. Just try and soak in those moments. And I feel like that in itself releases so much just like frustration just when I change my thought process. So yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I wanted to like have a little update here, sort of as a mum, not as a doula, and just let you know, like, motherhood isn't easy. It's actually the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And I feel like, you know, the older Kodak gets, like the easier it gets, but then also it changes, and it's a different kind of easy, it's a different kind of hard. And I'm about to run into a whole other iteration of that, having 2 under 2, and I'm excited. I'm equally a little bit nervous, and I don't know, I just feel like what a great conversation to listen to if you're also in the same shoes, because like I said, it's really hard to find like people who share about having like babies or like close together and stuff without them just like feeding into how fucking hard it is. And like I said, I have moments of hard. We all have moments of hard. Some days are hard, some weeks are hard. Sometimes I am like, oh my gosh, do I literally have like depression? And like, I'm not saying that lightly. Like, I have struggled with mental health throughout my life, and like sometimes I do really go into like a wave of like, oh my gosh, like, am I okay? Like, do I need to start going to therapy again? And then I'm okay. And so like, I don't want you to think that I'm saying like it's super easy and it's like blissful and all of the things. There's so much more to it, but it's just like, I feel like I have become really good at not subscribing to it being my reality. So I do hate that I can't find much online of like other mums who are sharing their journey, but like all of it, not just the hard, because I think like it's really great to see the hard and relate to the hard, but it's also like really nice to see that it can be beautiful. And if all you're seeing is like the hard and like that just you wait content, that can be like really like fearful for like a mum going into it, if that makes sense. Anyway, I'm just rambling now. I just want to remind you, if you haven't already, please could you rate and review the show? It honestly helps so much. On Apple Podcasts, you can write a little paragraph, little sentence, just let me know why you're loving the show. On Spotify, you can just give me the amount of stars that you think. I'm hoping 5. Don't forget to follow the show, subscribe, all of the things. Share it with a mum friend, share it with a mum friend to be. Everything to support this community to grow, because it is just so amazing to be able to reach as many mums as I can with the birth stories and with the educational content, and then just like the raw like reality of literally just being a mum. So love you so much. Thank you so much for being here, and I will be back in your ears on Friday with a birth story.